At this juncture, we shall move to the exercise of the right of reply, which has been requested. May I remind members that statements in the exercise of the right of reply are limited to 10 minutes for the first intervention and to 5 minutes for the second intervention, and should be made by delegations from their seats. I call on the representative of the Islamic Republic of Iran. You have the floor, the delegation of the Islamic Republic of Iran.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السيدة الرئيسة قبل أيام
In the name of God, the Merciful and the Compassionate. Some days ago, the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia took the floor to level false allegations against my country. I am thus speaking in Arabic today to be able to respond directly to his allegations to ensure that our position is rendered clear to that neighboring country. The Minister of Foreign Affairs of Saudi Arabia stated that his country supported the American strategy against Iran. Such a position is neither new nor astonishing. The position and stances of Saudi Arabia are well known. They oppose the people and governments of the region, including in fellow Arab nations. What is amusing is that the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Saudi Arabia accuses my country of supporting terrorism. This is a most strange and outlandish claim. Everybody knows very well that Saudi Arabia supports terrorism in a very blatant and widespread manner. I will not defend the position of my country as far as counterterrorism measures are concerned. Our history and record in that area is well known, particularly amongst countries in the region. We stand strongly for counterterrorism. I simply would like to recall here the links that exist between Saudi Arabia and terrorism and render them public before you all, and also share with you the Western perspective in response. In the framework of WikiLeaks in 2009, Hillary Clinton is said to have stated that Saudi Arabia is the greatest donor to terrorist groups around the world. As I say, we learned that from WikiLeaks. The Henry Jackson Group submitted in a report on the financing of terrorism information showing that Saudi Arabia is the world's major financer of terrorism and the largest financer of terrorism in the United Kingdom. A government inquiry was led by David Cameron in response to carry out an investigation into these allegations. On these allegations of Saudi Arabian support for terrorist groups in the United Kingdom. Many former ambassadors in Riyadh have accused Saudi Arabia of the same actions. A European ambassador also called Saudi Arabia the Kingdom of Terrorism. He gave them that nickname, accusing them of using their oil wealth to spread terrorism around the entire globe. The United States Congress, on the 28th of December 2016, adopted by majority a law targeting Saudi Arabia after 16 U.S. nationals of the 16, Saudi nationals were identified as being involved in the September 11th, 2001 attacks. I share all of these facts publicly, President, in order to ensure that everyone knows that those responsible for terrorist attacks in the Middle East, North Africa and Europe is the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. We are all well aware that they are the main supporters of Daesh and Al-Qaeda. Everyone knows very well, it is an open secret that the Yemen nation, this noble and oppressed nation, is suffering as a result of the direct machinations and maneuvers of Saudi Arabia. The Minister of Foreign Affairs of Saudi Arabia is accusing my country of destabilizing the region, as if the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia was a strong proponent of stability. May I ask whether the destruction of Yemen, the murder of children, of women, of Yemeni civilians is lending something to stability? The destruction of a bus in Sauda in Yemen, which cost the lives of dozens of children. Is that contributing to stability? And these children were younger than 15, may I recall you, and they lost their lives in that attack. Saudi Arabia deliberately targeted these children, and I underscore that point. These children were targeted deliberately, and civilians are deliberately targeted in these actions. Is the blockade against Qatar supporting and contributing to stability? Is the financing of terrorists in Syria, Iraq, Yemen, and Libya, is that serving the cause of stability? Is the creation and founding of terrorist groups in Lebanon doing anything for the cause of stability? What about the suicide attack against the Iranian embassy in Beirut? I would ask the same question. You say that you are defending the Arab identity. Should Arab identity be used as a cause or pretext to carry out proxy wars in Lebanon, to abandon the Palestinian people? You are not defending the Arab identity. You are killing the Arab identity with your dollars. You have no pity for anyone in the Arab world. You have no pity for any Arab people, including those who are supposedly your allies. Saudi Arabia claims that Ansar Allah has been targeting Saudi Arabia and claims that they have launched some 199 missiles against Saudi Arabia, missiles that they claim were manufactured in Iran. This is a lie, a total lie. How could Iran transport missiles to Yemen through the blockade? If these were ballistic missiles, as is claimed, how come there were so few casualties on the civilian side? Have you seen what a ballistic missile is capable of doing? It is risible that you can claim a ballistic missile is used given the lack of damage shown. We say to our Yemeni brothers, Iran wants one thing, the stability of Yemen, and we support the efforts of the Special Envoy of the Secretary General to Yemen, Mr. Martin Griffiths, to that end of stability in Yemen. We support all Yemens as they engage in an intra-Yemeni dialogue under the auspices of the United Nations. Mr. Griffiths recently stated that those who say that Ansar Allah don't want to negotiate, that is a lie. That is what we heard recently. The United Nations Security Council has called for a cessation of the violations of human rights in Yemen, violations of human rights that are largely attributed to the Saudi-led coalition, the destruction of infrastructure, the destruction of water distribution networks, and the report speaks of the responsibility of the United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia when it comes to violations of human rights in Yemen. In conclusion, I would like to say that the Saudi Minister of Foreign Affairs boasts of Saudi wealth. He says that $13 billion were invested in the Yemeni people. And indeed, we can say that that sum of $13 billion was paid, but to kill Yemeni people, to destroy Yemen, to increase famine and to spread cholera. This money was not invested for the reconstruction of the country. And despite all these false allegations against Iran, I would like to say directly to the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia that Iran is a just and loyal neighbor to its just, fair and loyal neighbors. We have called for dialogue in the past, and we call once again for you to engage in dialogue to resolve the problems and to do so for the well-being of the Muslim family. Our doors are open to dialogue. The ball is now in your court. President, in response to the accusations of the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the United Arab Emirates that were also levelled in this same august chamber pertaining to the 3 Iranian islands in the Persian Gulf, we wish to reiterate our claims of sovereignty over the 2 Tomba Islands and the island of Abu Musa. We call for non-intervention in our domestic affairs. In the past, we have expressed our willingness to participate in bilateral negotiations with the United Arab Emirates to put aside and set aside any misunderstanding. I thank you. I thank the Islamic Republic of Iran, says the President, and I now give the floor to Armenia. The delegation of Armenia has the floor.